Right, hello and welcome to the Matchday Vlogs YouTube channel. As always, please remember to smash that like button and hit subscribe because it really does make a difference to the channel. We're here this evening. We weren't expecting to be here this evening,
No.
but due to unforeseen circumstances, we're not there this evening. So we're here this evening to watch along with everyone. Don't worry, Jack. It wasn't just you. I had loads of work stuff kicking off as well. So yeah, the timing of the time slot of the fan forum was a little bit problematic for us actually getting down there, but let us know where you're watching from. We're going to be trying to basically bring in the forum into this stream as well, so we'll see how that goes, and just obviously get a bit of response from all you guys watching at home. Hopefully there'll be some decent questions, putting it to the board, and maybe getting some answers and putting in some questions as well. So we'll see how that goes. But fairly rough day yesterday, wasn't it, Jack?
Yeah, it wasn't great, was it? I'll be honest. I tried to I just avoid Twitter yesterday because I knew it'd just be a mix of people being sad videos, but also then the flip side, really angry, awful, poor takes. So sort of stay clear of it really. But also at the same time, still sort of like coming down from the weekend. So
yeah, exactly that. Yeah, it was the mad
Monday were recovery days. You know, I had a birthday and a 4-all draw. That's a lot to take in the space of 24 hours.
I didn't even mention that it was your birthday on the vlog. I wasn't intending to. I had like a whole emotional speech worked out. So sorry I missed that, Jack.
You know,
it was in there.
Great matters took hand, and that was a lot of goals.
Yes, it was a lot of goals.
A lot
of goals. That was indeed. So obviously we have the fan forum coming up. I mean, is there any particular topics that you're hoping are going to be addressed? I mean, what did you have a particular question lined up tonight that you had in mind?
Pretty much where I did ask you earlier on today what if you had a question loaded, and it was about the goalkeeping role.
Yeah,
and that would have been the same for me as well. What was I sent you the stat earlier when is it 7 shots on target? He said that he's setting 5 have gone in.
Yes.
It's not great, is it?
No, it doesn't look good.
But when you tie it in with some of the goals that went in pre-season as well, I'm of the opinion that a goalkeeper doesn't come back from a 9-0 game, and he probably doesn't come back after a season like he's just had. Without a little, dip away somewhere, maybe a loan out or just a rest, or even just some competition to relight a fire, just something to get Baz going again. Because I do think he on his feet, he's been great. I think he's worked really well on that back line, passing the ball about.
I'm smiling in there because I think I met Toby yesterday in the Everyman Cinema. So hello, Toby. The burger was excellent. Thank you so much. And the buffalo fries at the Everyman Cinema. Spot on. Oppenheimer as well. Whew, what a film.
What a film, right?
What a film. What a film. My goodness. It was quite something.
Bet you want to go play with your cameras after you're done with it.
I did actually. I spent the whole film enjoying it, but then also thinking, I love the framing of this shot. I love how they've mixed the colours in with it. I got really nerdy, and then I thought I need to remember to follow the story. But yeah, a lot going on. Recommend a viewing if you haven't been to see it already. Great watch, as you said, Jack. Excellent. Cinema is back. Cinema is back. Yes,
and that's why you should all go and watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Rise of the Goo, because it's great.
Yes, indeed. That's certainly derailed me. Evening, everyone. Evening. How's everyone else's day been? Ours has been okay. We were intending to be at the stadium this evening, but unfortunately, due to various work issues, but on both our parts, that was not possible. So this is the next best thing. And it's I don't feel bad after paying the ticket because the money goes towards the Saints Foundation. So it's a win-win, really, isn't it? But would have been nice to be there tonight. So yeah. But yeah, you're talking about the goalkeeper situation. I think that would have been exactly my question as well, in terms of like who is going to be challenging Bazunu for that number 1 spot, because I kind of feel like we're the experts in signing third place keepers, but perhaps not in terms of having someone, because it looks like McCarthy is on his way out to either Palace or Everton. Did I read? Was that right?
Oh, I'm hoping so much. I'm hoping one of them makes that mistake and takes it, because it's the only way we can get competition in that place, because
Yeah,
it's a lot of wages. Either I don't know whether I don't know whether Alex got a big pay cut when he went down anyway. So maybe he wants
I
that
don't
move
think so.
now.
I don't think so, and I think that's one of the
Yeah,
things that's pushing it along. Andy, the heart rate is slowly slowing, but it took a while. Definitely took a while. That did. So yeah, no, and I think also the fact that Alex McCarthy's wages are quite high. So if they are, I think they're around 100K.
that's what I
I got a
remember
weird
it being.
feeling that it's around that kind of number.
So let's say even if he got like that demotion going down a league, maybe let's say 50%. That's still 50K on the budget.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's quite outrageous.
A lot. But I don't think it would have been reduced, because I don't think a lot of the
No,
players had
maybe not.
relegation clauses in their contracts. So maybe McCarthy was one of them. Although I'm not sure when that contract was signed. If anyone
It's
knows when.
not too long ago, as I remember. Like,
Yeah,
I want to say maybe 2 years ago, maybe. I'm not sure
quite
though.
possibly. Yeah, seriously, why did they want Macca? Because he's Premier League quality. Stop playing it down. Remember, we want him to go. So yeah.
But besides the goalkeeper position, I kind of thought hopefully somebody asks about, and it's all well and good them having plans in place for what the squad will be at the beginning of the season, depending on transfers and all that kind of stuff. But you kind of realistically, right now the season started. It's like, so do you know what your squad? Do you know what you want your squad to be?
Yeah.
Right now, because now that Prousey is gone, that Lavia's still definitely got to go, and Livramento, and you hear him sort of rumors. I think it sounds bad, but as soon as I heard transfer rumors about Will Smallbone, I got a bit nervous.
I
And
know,
then
right?
he's picked up this little knock that sounds like it's going to be a few months out. So
It's equally
maybe
terrible.
that which is rubbish, because he's already had one of those long term injuries anyway.
Yeah.
So I want to be playing football because he's looked like one of the best players for us, the past few games.
Yeah.
So
I'm just going to test something. Let me see if this works.
we're gonna test something. Look at that. There it is.
There it is. Move it to that position. Oh look, I need to take that fan forum thing off because it's in your face.
No, this is great.
I didn't think about that, did I? Hang on. Let me get the fan forum thing out of your face. There you go. Jack's back.
Oh yeah.
Jack's back. Sorry, what were we talking about?
I was just talking about where I want about the transfer window and where we are right now, because you don't really know. There's a lot of uncertainty, and the more we lose players, the more I'm just like, I really don't know what's going on.
Oh, here we go.
There's the man.
Hello, Adam.
Have you got volume? Can you hear it?
I can hear it.
I can't hear it.
Ah. Is that better?
No, I've got getting no sound from it at all.
Ah. Might not be able to audio share.
Yeah, the chat can't hear it. That's a shame.
How do I do that then?
How we do that? Come on, guys. One of you out there got to be a StreamYard guru.
Let me see. Let me see. I've got an idea.
Can you all hear it now?
First, I want to say, as always, I'm indebted to the club for being here in front of the fans. It's something we do that they don't have to do, but most clubs wouldn't do. And I'm grateful for the club's new hierarchy for respecting the tradition, which goes back to the last century.
Let us know if you all can hear it.
Without further ado, please welcome our panel this evening and give them a loud, warm Saints welcome for their first one for 3 of them. Southampton's head of women's and girls football, herself a pioneer, a great player for England, and the woman leading the Saints women in the Championship, Marianne Spacey-Cale. Southampton's new chief executive, Phil Parsons, the man tasked with leading the club off the pitch and setting a culture for success, and the man responsible for turning the owner's vision into reality. The club's new director of football, Jason Wilcox, an England international with a Premier League winners' medal as part of that Blackburn side that had him raking down one wing and Stuart Ripley racing down
I thought he had a
supplying goals for that SAS attack that we all remember. And now, after a decade at Manchester City, he's heading up Southampton's football operations. He's the man running Saints football. But more importantly, he's had a spell as a summariser with my colleagues at BBC Radio Lancashire. So if Joe Tessham's ever ill, he's going to fill in, I'm sure. And last but not least, the man whose job it is to lead Saints back to the promised land on the pitch, the club's new first team manager, who was promoted to Premier League player. Now he's hoping to do it as Southampton's manager, Russell Martin. Ladies and gentlemen, your Saints panel tonight.
Should have been us, man. Should have been us.
Let's see what the first question is.
Okay.
Long applause.
In the building, who works with me, super young man, and a lifelong Saints fan who has an encyclopedic memory of every goal Saints have scored since 2010. Apart from that, he's holding the microphone, so when you want to get your questions, get your hands up and Tom will come and find you. Right, let me start with a little warm-up. Marianne, good evening. Get your mic. Always nice to have you here. Thank you. You made a new signing today.
It's true.
Lovely first name, Atlanta. Surname's Primus. You realise that's a bit dangerous in these parts, don't you?
Well, I'm hoping she's going to be dangerous when she starts every game for us. So, no, she's a fantastic player and
from
will have
London
more
City.
depth and more quality to the squad.
The latest of a busy summer for you as well.
Yeah, it was good that we're kind of done now in terms of transfers and got everybody in pretty much that we want. And yeah, we knew what targets we wanted. We knew who we wanted to come in and why. And we're in a strong place now before the league kicks off.
Okay. Jason Wilcox, good evening. Welcome to Southampton officially in BBC Radio Solent. Thank you for being here. Nice quiet August so far? No problems? Settling in quietly, easing into the job?
I wish I could say, my mic on?
Yeah.
I wish I could say our business is done like Marianne's, but it's not. So,
should we get it out the way first? Because if nobody else asks it, then I'm going to. I've been, obviously Fabrizio's been telling me what's going on with Romeo. So just what is the latest with Lavia? What can you update everybody with as of tonight that you're allowed to say?
Why is he not going to the highest bidder?
I think he knows before me. So, yeah, I think, it's well known that we've had some significant interest in Romeo. We've had an offer which we accepted from Liverpool. Then Chelsea came to the table. So we're currently in negotiation with Chelsea now. So it's a real tricky period for Romeo. But I'm confident that something will get done in the next week or so, or next few days. And I think, when we look at what Romeo's achieved here, I think every one of us here would want to lose him. But the reality is we're in the Championship and we need to reinvest. And by buying Shea Charles, we've got another one who can, hopefully, we can do the same with. So good luck to Romeo. Let's say it's not done yet, but I envisage in the next few days it will be completed.
And of course, part of that axis, last and not least, is the new chief executive, Phil Parsons. Good evening, sir.
I wonder what that fee will end up as.
How are you enjoing the new job?
60.
What I'm really
I heard
interested
Chelsea was saying like 50 plus add-ons.
before the end of August. How much
I've
of the
got about
owners
60. I'm begging for 60.
the ambition?
You assumed I'm enjoying it.
It's your phone near your mic.
It's been,
Oh, okay, that's why it's buzzing. Let me see if I can get it on here.
we have a reinvestment pot. We're not. The owners are not silly people. They're very, very invested in getting Southampton straight back up to the Premier League. But at the same time, been tasked with, let's make sure we rebuild the foundations across the club in all departments. And that's my job. Football is with Jason. He has his budget to work with. He can potentially get a bigger budget if he
Can he
does.
squeeze you for a bit more, yeah?
He squeezes me every few minutes, actually. And I have to go and
Trying to work
squeeze
out
the owners.
if you're squeezing the owners, that's what I want to know. Okay, who you're batting for?
I won't answer that.
You like your job?
No. Look, the owners are very, very involved.
Got to say, they speak very different than the last forum.
Yeah.
They all, it's all very different.
It's an interesting time, hopefully.
It's an interesting time. Hopefully.
Can you hear it on mine now?
Yeah, I can hear it on yours.
For Russell, which I think we're going on to.
Is that enough then?
Russell, good evening.
I think so.
That's a nice, easy one for you. How's your small bone? I think we'd all like to know what you can tell us. I mean, sometimes early in the few days after an injury, it's hard to know the extent of one till it's calmed down. But how is he?
I think it's probably a bit worse than we would have liked
It's not good to hear.
But I also don't think it's going to be anything too long term. We don't know yet, to be honest. But I don't envisage Will being too ready for the weekend. Unfortunately, he's been great. He's been so good since he's been back in. And
It's out for a few months. It's not going to be the weekend,
really
is it?
impressive. Really impressive. It'll be a loss, but hopefully for not very long.
It's a big blow, though, isn't it? I mean, he has been key in pre-season.
He played two positions on Saturday. It was great in both of them. And he's been. Well, I always thought he was a good player, and he's better than I thought he was. Like a lot of the players, to be honest. And hopefully, we'll give them an opportunity to show. Do you this closer? Sorry. He's got a massive nose. I'm worried about.
You've been a bit harsh.
No, I have. I've got a massive nose, massive teeth, and a really big head.
I can relate.
From that, I'm doing all right.
I can relate.
I was going to say, don't worry, you're sat next to me. You look fine.
Yeah, no, he's been. He's been amazing. Really good.
Yeah, good. Right. Okay. Now let's see how you're all feeling. Questions.
Kill them. Kill them.
Shall we? Questions from audiences. Tom, get yourself on your skates on. Let's go. Slow tonight, isn't it? You lot are slow. Put your hands up as well. Yeah, of course. You go one at a time.
Tom.
I know. Tom's fine. He's young.
Yeah, it's Tony Gibbon.
Hello, Tony.
Oh.
My question is in relation to squad height.
Who's question 2, Tony?
I guess it's Jason and Russell.
Okay.
In terms of,
Stay
is there
with
a
us.
plan to address that? You know, if you look over the last 4 or 5 seasons, we've conceded soft
There you
goals
go.
from set plays. You know, we've brought in various different set piece experts. Again, we got another one in. The first 3 games of the season, we've conceded soft goals from set play. How much of a priority is it in the transfer window to address that?
Thank you very much, Tony. Right.
Good question. It is a good question.
Yeah, great question.
Those set piece goals have annoyed people, Russell. So
Yeah, they've annoyed me as well.
Yeah, I'll bet that. Come on then. What about height in the team?
Well, I think it's important in the Championship. We're never going to recruit just for height. It's not the way that we play. There are teams who genuinely will recruit just for that.
On Watcho and defence.
And set piece capability. The goals are avoidable, and it's not just about height. It's about mentality. It's about detail. Andreas has just got in the building, and he's very much learning on the job about what the players are capable of, as we are in the normal, the general style of play. So we've learned a lot over the last few games, and it's something we will address. We scored from a set piece ourselves as well, so I think it's something we're aware of and something we're conscious of, but it's not something we're gonna go and just recruit on the basis of. But of course, it's something we need to be really aware of, and set pieces are going to be so important. We've shown the players how important set pieces are in the Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Teams have got promoted or to the player final purely, really, with the biggest strength being set piece, and so it's something we'll work on relentlessly, as we will everything else, to make sure we get it right.
Jason, the profile of players, you come from a setup which has been incredibly successful in the last decade at developing certain types of players. How much does height come into it, or shouldn't it in a way? In other words, should teams be able to defend? If you pick a player who's good enough, is he tall enough? That's one.
Martinez.
Yeah, I think when you're looking at profiles of players, there's height in certain positions which are crucial. You know, I think you look at your goalkeeper, your 2 centre backs. So I think those are key positions that really need height. But like Russell said, we're not really recruiting for height. We're recruiting for the right players who play a certain way and have the courage to play this way. And if they are tall, it's an added bonus. we're not going out either to recruit small players. We have got to be conscious that we're in the Championship and we need a team that's going to be able to compete physically, and that's something that's really important. The alignment of profiles is a big part of my job, in terms of making sure that when I look across the squad that we've inherited, all of us, I don't think there's been a squad with a real clear identity, with clear profiles, who play this with a certain style. I think last year when I was reviewing all our games from January, from when I joined to when we got relegated, I felt as though the games that we won we were relying on luck quite a lot, and we couldn't identify what we were doing well, what we weren't doing well. We thought we had a system, but we didn't. And I think my job now my belief is that with consistency and alignment and work on the training ground, which Russell, that's why we brought Russell in, because he fits what I believe in. And, the owners have been super supportive of getting the right players in, but it's a long process. It's going to take time, and it's going to take patience from all the supporters to really believe that this way is a fantastic way of watching football matches. And, to see the first second of a goal is just as important as the last second. And I think that's something that's really important. The players who are receiving it in their own goal mouth, you don't know how much courage that these boys have got to have to play this way. And the easiest thing to do is for us all to lose belief.
It's terrifying to watch as well.
We get on
yes.
to Russell's back, and all of a sudden the players start thinking they've got to kick it long and get the ball as far away from our goal as possible, because it's easier to play that way. We're not going to change, and I think we want to give you a team which you're really proud of, and you're really proud of the way we play, the way we win, and the courage that the team shows on a day-to-day basis when other teams don't show the same courage. So the profiles of players that we're going to bring into the football club are going to want to come and play for us. And there are a lot of players who want to come and play for Southampton Football Club right now because of the project that we're building, and that's super exciting. And we've got to go on now and build, and we're going to win some football matches and we're going to lose some, but we're going to have a clear identity, and we're certainly going to know why we've lost and why we've won.
That's it. Yeah, here's that.
Interesting coming over from David, playing Premier League way man up to the first approach to get out of the Championship.
Tom, get your hands up so Tom can go to the next people and keep jumping. So, sir.
Depends how well we play it, doesn't it?
Sorry, another transfer question to the same two people. What with the sort of delay in some of the players sort of being bought and getting money in, I just wondered whether that's had any impact on the people we're trying to recruit. Have we missed out on any people because of the delay, and we have to move on to new targets? So, yeah, it's really sort of what impact has that had?
Thank you.
I would hope not.
Start with you, Phil, because the question for me is interesting. That's part of that is, did you have to, and do you have to wait for sales from the owners before they give you permission to spend the money, or can you spend it knowing that some players are going to go? So how does that work? Is it literally you can't go too early in case other deals fall, and you have to work within boundaries? What's the situation?
No, we don't necessarily have to wait. We're actually quite fortunate that we have owners that are willing to put more cash into the club as well, but we have financial responsibilities to meet certain regulations at the same time. And also, when you do sales, it's not that the money hits the bank straight away. A lot of fans will think, oh, you've got 40 million in the bank, can't you spend it? No, you've got to sometimes wait for the money to hit over certain years. And you've also got payables that you have to pay for transfers that have gone out from previous transfers windows. So cash flow is important to be looking at with all businesses. It's not a football question, it's a business question. So yes, we'll look at cash flow, but we also need to talk closely with Jason on a day-to-day basis of where are conversations, and have we missed out on any? I would say we've missed out on any transfers about getting the right profiles, what Jason has been talking about, and we make sure that the players coming in want to be here, not just want to come here to use the club and do well in their career.
Ideally, is where you want to get
part of the journey, but
the transfers in before you sell the big names, because then clubs don't know you got a ton of cash.
When it comes
Exactly.
in and going out, and then you've got, when you get relegated, you've got different payments coming in,
And don't get me started about the amount of advertising money you get. So there's lots of factors in there. But no, nothing's holding us back so much. No, we should make the right players.
I thought you were going to say, don't get you started on Blackmore going on the radio and saying, well, they've got 120 million, why aren't they spending it? But it doesn't all come in at once, is the point, isn't it?
Absolutely. No.
Okay. Jason.
Yeah, I think just to touch on Phil's point, it's really dangerous for us to sign lots of new players. We are desperate to sign new players, all of us. And because it's the exciting part of rebuilding, but it's very dangerous as well to go and make high-level assumptions that we're going to sell, 5 or 6 players, and we're going to get a certain amount of cash into the business. It's quite a tricky balancing act that we don't want to put Southampton Football Club at any risk. And I think we've got to make sure that we're sensible in our approach and be really disciplined in our approach to, Russell wants his team. He wants his team fixed, and he wants to know who he's going to have. Of course, I want the same thing, but I've also got to have one eye on working with Phil on budgets and things. And we're working together. We're a team. We're not always going to agree on everything, but the most important thing is that we protect this football club and we don't make any crazy decisions based on emotion, and that the fact that we want to get new players in, and we will get the right players in at the right time, and we'll sell players at the right time. And that's really, really important for everybody to know, because the survival of Southampton and the fact that we're going to build now and build forward and move forward is really important.
Yeah. Phil, can you not persuade another club to come into the Lavia bidding, and we'll just keep going up and up and up? We're somewhere ridiculous.
We're trying.
We're trying.
Surely Arsenal want him. Surely.
That's one of our tactics.
Yeah, Arsenal must want him. Okay, let's get your hands up, please.
I think also they're talking about being careful. It's not necessarily there's not enough money in the pot. It's about being responsible for fair play as well. Not leaving us exposed like Everton or Wolves.
Yeah, you see. What can I say?
In the disabled section in front of the kitchen, just kind of level with the penalty area. And what me and my friend often find is that when there's a incident or Saints are attacking or defending, the stewards decide at that precise moment that they're going to have a changeover or go over and have a chat, and they're going to stand up while doing it. And it's only when somebody yells or get down that they actually bother to move. So
what do you want to happen, sir? What do you need to change?
What I would like to happen is just a pretty basic note to all the stewards, or a tap on the shoulder, to just be slightly more mindful of the play, to maybe do the changeover when the ball is at the other end.
Okay, thank you. Tom, take that. And Tom Mann here at the front next for you. Phil, that's for you to answer. I'm sure a few people have got things to say about stewards, but they do a noble job when they can, most of them. Just answer that about actually getting in the way of people's vision of the match.
I can't talk about individual situations, but we will take the feedback and we'll make sure I think it links into a bit of the culture we're trying to create here as well, which is if we've got problems, let's talk about them and just fix them and get it done. So look, we'll take it away. The team are at the back taking notes, and we'll make sure that. And by the way, I was sitting nearby, so I'll shout at them as well. So no problem.
That's good. That's good. So there are people here taking notes, which is great.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's good to know.
That's important.
It is. Right, gentleman in the front row, sir.
Yeah, my name's Alex Mead. I'm one of those people born here, and my father said you're supporting Southampton. 55 yesterday, so it's been a lot of fun, but a lot of pain. Adam, first of all, I cried at the JWP video yesterday, and I thought your comments were on the money. But it's a 4-part question, so everyone can just fill my boots. I've got one slot. So
yeah,
Jason and Phil.
Keep your hands up for Tom to go next, by the way.
Jason and Phil, I'm reading about Kamaldeen Sulemana, the Monaco bid. Teller, we could go on. There's 4 or 5 players. Che Adams. I mean, is there a stage where if you're only making £4 or £5 million, you say it's not worth it because these are players we need, and even if they say they want to go, you're going to put your foot down. And then to Russell and Marianne, the part 2 is
I didn't see Sulemana staying.
Trust in you and your tactics very unique, and oh my goodness, yeah. Do you learn anything from Marianne? And Marianne, do you learn anything from Russell in the tactics?
Okay, let's start with the gentleman on my right then, I'm afraid. So where's the push and pull of a sale?
Everyone's got their price.
What Russell wants, does it end
literally.
on the profit?
Everyone's got their price. We like money.
Or is it just a combination, Jason, of everything?
How does it pan out? How do you make a call?
Yeah, I think when myself and Russell sit down and we look at the squad, there are certain players that we look at and think, okay,
Some are
these have
desperate
got
to
a
leave.
natural Premier League market. So if you look at James and people like him, you know that you're expecting offers to come in, and then there are sometimes offers that come in that are unexpected, and you have to consider it from a business perspective. And you look at it and say, okay, is it good value for this player in terms of bringing money into the football club?
My daughter is calling me. It's ridiculous.
Well, we didn't want to hear this answer anyway. What a way to interrupt the stream. This is the best way to do it.
Can you call Bella? She's trying to call me. Ridiculous. Sorry, everyone. As you were.
Can we rewind a little?
Oh, for goodness sake.
What are they saying?
Sorry,
Ever
everyone.
seen
There's a
Toy
mistake. And they're not thinking, and we're not always going to agree, but the relationship is strong enough that strong level of trust that we're both here to do the right thing for Southampton Football Club. We're both very ambitious. We both want to win, but we're both sensible as well. And I think that the values that we bring match this football club, and that's why we both came.
Russell, just to take it on to a practical day-to-day, very difficult month for any manager, especially when you're not in the top 6 of the Premier League or in Saudi Arabia. How do you deal with that uncertainty in the dressing rooms? You're trying to get a team together. Everyone loves you till the 5th or 4th of August. Then you pick an 11, and then somebody didn't pick me, did he? And you get all those player personality things. Then you get the chat about sales and transfers. How on earth do you deal with it, or don't you? Or do you have to just plough through it all?
I think we've tried to be really conscious of everyone's situation. So everyone's really different. We had some guys that were 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, adamant they were leaving, but are now not and happy to be here, which is really important.
Name them. Name them.
Some guys
Name them.
had so much
Name them.
uncertainty, it's been really difficult for them to deal with it. And I think you have to really empathise with them at that moment, because there's so much that goes into it. Families, children. For some of the younger guys, it's the expectation from families and people around them. So I think we've just gone down the road that we'll give everything we've got with everyone in case they are here. When they leave, we can look each other in the eye and know that we've given them everything. Hopefully they've given us the same, and that's all we've asked for since we've come in, and they've all been amazing with that. They've really...
That must be incredibly difficult to navigate.
Try new things and giving us everything they've got in training. There's days where some people find it tough because maybe there's a bid come in and they're not sure about what's happening, or they're not going, or they want to leave, or it's a really difficult time for everyone. So we've just been really honest, asked for the same back, and they've been really brilliant in training everyone. Really, you have to accept every now and again there's a day where someone is maybe having a tough time, but
we forget how young some of them are. Imagine if you're Lavia and you're reading about yourself. You're 19.
Yeah.
Imagine us all trying. I'm a Euro footballer,
but
what's
the stake?
Layman like me.
Yeah, and maybe it's the only opportunity you get. You've just been off the back of a good season individually, but a disappointing one for a team. So that comes into it and all of that, and then what people around you expect, how good your agent is at managing that noise for you, how much pressure he puts on you. So it's so difficult. It's so difficult. I was never good enough to have any of that noise, so I would never doubt of it. But,
easy to stay at Norwich, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So then you get called loyal, but really you're crap because you're
Okay, you were very crap for Arsenal for many years then, weren't you? Look at that. Right. Talking of which, Marianne, you brought a lot of new faces in. How do you stop that unsettling your dressing room?
I think it's really important that you have a clear vision. I think it's important that every player understands what their strengths are, what you want from a starter, what you want from a finisher, what you want from a supporter, so that when they walk out on that pitch, they know that if they're starting the game, this is what you want from them. If they're going to come into the game, this is the impact you want from them. And if they're not in the squad, it's about the lead into the game during the week, because you have to train as if you're playing, and it might be that they play as the opposition. So they have to accept the And they're very good at accepting that my role might be this weekend, but my role during the week is to ensure that we're ready. So it's having a real vision on what you want to achieve and everybody buying into that. But it's also recognising what the person's strengths are, starter, finisher, supporter model.
But then that is fine, but then you've still got people who'll be annoyed they're not in the team.
Absolutely, and I wouldn't want them not to be. I want them to be annoyed, and I want them to use that in a positive way and not be and not use it in a detrimental way to the rest of the squad. So conversations are really important, understanding and ensuring that they understand the value of who they are and what they bring. And you're natural. Football's a very competitive sport, and everybody wants to be on that first 11 in that first 11. But it's not 11 that win anything. It's the whole squad that wins everything. And as long as you've got that vision and you've got that mindset and the rhetoric around the dressing room, around the training ground is all about, if I do this today, it means that we'll be better tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. Right, hands up. Let's go. So they're on the third row. Then after that, Tom, gentleman on the front row.
James, question for Jason and Russell, again, transfer base, sorry. I think the spine of the team's probably been a bit of an issue for quite a while now. Obviously, the next 2.5 weeks is going to be crucial to our promotion bids. Can you give us some reassurances that, we're looking at the spine of the team, and I'm talking about centre forward, central midfield, centre back and keeper.
Goalkeeper,
I include all of those positions in that storage at the weekend, but still a few weaknesses there. So can I get some reassurances that, we're looking at those positions in the last couple of weeks of the window?
We don't have a problem with a goalkeeper.
Wow, yeah, you do.
We have a full international. He's 20 years old. He's will take unbelievable learning from last season, playing in the team that finished bottom of the Premier League. That's not easy for a goalkeeper, and it's definitely not easy for a young goalkeeper.
Fair play.
McCarthy is really experienced number 2. Joe Lumley is a really experienced number 3. We have real strength in that department. So I think I've been made aware of this narrative around Gav. Last season's happened. He can't impact that. What he can impact is he'll be one of the best goalkeepers in the division. For how we want to play, if I was going to look at a goalkeeper, I'd want to go and sign Gavin Bazunu. And his mentality and how he's been, how he's trained, how he plays. On Saturday, he couldn't do anything. Like I said after the game to Adam, and he doesn't deserve to concede 4 goals, and not his problem
That's fair.
at all. It's the guys in front of him. And we learn from that. So I can only speak from a short time here, but Gavin is going to be a brilliant goalkeeper. He's going to be a huge asset to this club on the pitch, financially, whatever you want to call it. And as long as he maintains the standards he's had in the last 6 weeks, we'll be more than fine. And he has really capable people pushing him every day in training to make sure we bring the best out of him. And in Gavin, already in the 6 weeks, I've seen his personality starting to come out. He's had a really difficult time, but he will be so much better for last season, as will Sam Adozi, the young guys that we have in the building. It's our job to make sure we get out of him. In terms of the rest, we want to improve every position we possibly can, but also understanding that some positions are really much more important than others. We have 2 number 9s that have scored 3 and 2 goals already in 2 games. So again, unless someone comes up that is a lot better than those, and we have Sekou Mara waiting in the wings as well, unless someone comes up that we think can really, really improve that position, or we lose one of them, then maybe it's something we address. But in terms of the spine of the team, we have some real strength. It's our job, it's my job and the coach's job to make you guys see the best version of them, because you haven't for a year or 2. Some of the players that have been here for Adam Armstrong 2 years or whatever he's been here, you haven't seen the best version of him because you haven't been able to, because the style of play didn't suit him particularly well. He hasn't been given a huge amount of opportunity. So it's our job to make sure that you see. And then if we're sitting here in a year's time, hopefully I'll still be here and we're all happy, then maybe you can have another conversation about that we need to strengthen that if they haven't done what I think they can go and do, and hopefully the style of play will enable them to do.
Thank you.
Love that. He wasn't invited to answer that question. He just jumped in. We ain't got a problem there.
Jason, I'm just going to stretch that a bit. You've obviously worked at Manchester City, academy. Gavin will be a player very familiar to you. He made a great comment to me the other day when I spoke to him about how he wanted to get men's football early and didn't want to carry on playing academy football, which I thought at the time, the decisions he was making when he was 17, 18, and he's 21 just, I think. He's had 2 seasons in the Football League, a season in the Premier League. He's got 16 caps. He's got 2 relegations under his belt. He's just 21. I mean, you played the game all your career, but for a goalkeeper at that age to have been through that much is incredible. So he's got some steel, hasn't he? Inner steel inside him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I signed Gavin when he was 16 at Man City, and he's the same guy now, same humble guy that has played in the Premier League and was probably frustrated with his own performances last year, but he's really reflective. He's a winner, and I agree with Russell. I think there won't be a better goalkeeper in the league than him, and I think he's going to be a tremendous asset for us. And he's a tremendous representation of who we are. I think he's an amazing boy. He shows real courage. He's not going to get it right all the time, but he's got, let's say, a huge amount of courage to play this way, and you know, we're backing him 100%. Everybody, by the way, you're welcome to have your opinion. I think we just know Gavin a lot closer, and whilst he may not have been, you know, he made mistakes last year, he would have grown from it, and it's only standing in good stead for this year. He's a tremendous goalkeeper and a tremendous young person.
Yeah, thank you. Tom, let's have this question then. Sir.
Hi, yeah, name's Lee. I was going to ask exactly the same question, because it was going to be, are we going to look to get another goalkeeper in, because I just wanted to know if we're going to have an experienced goalkeeper.
You've had that answer.
Yep. So just moving on from that one for Russell. Are we going to bring in any more experienced players in other parts rather than just youngsters?
Okay, yeah, it's interesting, because if I just stretch that again, obviously, when we look back at last season in the Premier League, there was a lot of young players brought in, and maybe the balance was too many young and not enough experience, and too much experience.
Yeah, I don't think Nathan James would have been allowed in the county with that.
The long-term ambition is to develop players. At the same time, you need to win games.
Yeah, I think we'll be bringing one in this week with really good experience in this division, and hundreds of games in the Football League and some in the Premier League. And then we are looking at players that can add experience to this division or the one higher. So I also feel like there is a balance. The older players, the more experienced ones, definitely help the younger ones to really be the players they need to be.
Not last season, they didn't.
Understand what it takes every day, not just in a.
Got to be the right experienced
we have
players.
some really brilliant experienced players. Also, like the young players have been that really have helped the club hugely this summer. Tino, Romeo. So it's never gonna. It's part of who we are. Sam Ammo has come on in every game and played against Gillingham, been amazing. So like we had the youngest team in the league last year, I think, at Swansea. We're really not worried about if you're good enough, you're old enough. Shay Charles come on at the weekend was really outstanding when he come on. So of course we need to help them with our own experience and a few experienced players. But I think by the end of the window we'll have enough experience for sure. But also the excitement that brings the young players, the ones that were here last year that felt that pain already, to have that so early on in their career. I'll be really grateful for that at some point. And I'll be much better for it as well. So I think the balance of the squad is quite nice. We'll add some experience for sure. It's also not like we're trying to build for this season and beyond. You know, it's not just like we need to just all costs this year get promoted and not really understand how you get there and why you get there. And then all of a sudden you're in the Premier League, it's a bit scary. We're going to try and get there in a way that we feel is the most sustainable way. And with players that can grow with us. So it's like a really difficult balance that you want to get promoted, but you don't want to sign players that are only going to help you get there. And all of a sudden, next time you have a big problem again, where you have players that aren't quite ready to compete at the next level. So I think that's a conversation we're constantly having about the players we look at. And we need a blend of both. And I think at the minute we have quite a good blend. And so we'll add to that, whether it's young or old, but I think we have a good blend at the moment.
It's a really interesting debate, Phil, about what the owners want to make money on players. Eventually it's a business. You want to, Southampton has a history of developing good young talent, and at some point it might go up to the top 4 clubs or the top 6 clubs. I think of all the players who've gone to Liverpool and so on in the last decade, and that was a decent strategy because it means good young players want to come to Southampton because they know it'll get them maybe where they want to go. So there's a chain there that some fans don't see. They don't see that it's a good thing sometimes to sell them to the top clubs, because then you're a club that people see. But surely there has to be some short-termism, Phil, in the owners thinking, because you need players now to get back up. So although you don't want to be carrying players in the Premier League, for example, that are only Championship, I mean, there can't be anything that wrong with having a player who's great for a season and then maybe not good enough. I mean, or is there? Or does it have to be more sustainable?
No, there are not conversations going on that we will make money on this player today. Actually, the main objective is how do we get up? That's the conversation. We're not talking about we'll make 50 million on a player. Now, if we do, yes, it's a bonus, and it really helps us reinvest.
I think it's got to be in their consideration, surely.
Players that we've spent, maybe if we
can't say it's not
50 million.
Am I chucking 10 million at a Man City academy player, knowing that it's going to be
than those big clubs, and we have to think differently going forward about everything from our player, how we bring players through the academy, the experience we give them, the minutes that Russell has to try and get younger players on the pitch, and equally how we look at our revenue streams in the club across every department. And it's my job to challenge the team to start thinking differently in other areas. I've got some of our team in the room, and we're really talking about how we make money in different areas that we haven't done before, because we can't rely just on a playing strategy, because it's not sustainable. Because you get 2 years where you don't get any talent out the door, then you can be in a bit of trouble. So we've got to be sensible on that, and that's why we've got to, again, think about our strategy going forward differently.
Get your hands up. You're listening to BBC Radio Solent's annual Southampton Fans Forum. Listening or watching, however you are enjoying it. Tom, who have we got there? Lady over there in the fourth
on match
row.
they've logged. That's how you're enjoying it.
My question kind of moves away a bit from the squad and more towards a fan-focused question. As a fellow away fan that travels across the country, is there any plans to agree a mutual away ticket cap with any of the clubs? I know that Reading did this in the past, and I know that as a away supporter, it's a worry that any of the clubs could kind of have a really high away ticket. So is there any plans for mutually agreeing that with any clubs?
Great question.
Great comment from David as well down here. Maitland-Niles.
Yeah. And by the way, what a start from you fans away at Sheffield Wednesday and Gillingham. I thought it was a great effort on both counts. A Friday night and a Tuesday in Kent. Cool. Right, terrific effort.
Thank you.
So, how about
job,
that, Phil?
Good
because in the Premier League, we had a situation where tickets were a certain price for away games. Of course, those Premier League clubs have got more money from broadcasters to afford that. I think even one of the sponsors helped it with away fans for a season or two. Virgin. So various people have helped in the past. Is the Championship as generous or helpful, do you think? Or is it a different beast working with the EFL?
I won't comment on the EFL's philosophy so much, but I do
read into that.
Some of the ticket prices I've seen are far too high. But I can't tell you we've got a solution today, but we are looking at all options, because actually, I haven't been around that long, but I'm so happy with what I'm seeing from the fans. The atmosphere has just been tremendous. The away games at Sheffield Wednesday was there. It was really...
That was quality.
I felt proud to be a part of it, and all I can do is thank everybody. And the home match on Saturday, it was a real... gives you a tingle down the spine. The
record attendance in the league.
And what summed it up for me, and sorry, I'm moving away from the tickets, but what summed it up for me with all the fans was we went a goal down, and we had all the fans singing. No one's, it was everyone behind the team. Russ said the boys felt it, and it was 4-4. The boys are getting the ball out the net. They're running back, trying to get the fifth goal, and everybody's still here on the 97th minute. I mean, a few people would have been in the bar by then, but everyone was still around. So we are focusing on the tickets and see what we can do. We haven't got a solution just yet, because we've got a few battles to do, but we're looking at everything to make it.
It's going to be club by club, isn't it?
Let me just ask, is it unrealistic for any fans to think the club should help with the prices because you've got dropped out of the Premier League and lost 90 million quid? Is that unrealistic now in the Championship?
I don't think it's unrealistic when it's a lot of money to travel to an away game and support the team. We are looking at every penny at the moment, because we need to put it back into football. So we also look at new revenue streams, as I mentioned earlier, about what we can do. And there are some requests are unreasonable. If I'm really honest with you, that we do get requests saying, well, we're going to make no money if we do everything your way. So we do need to be quite blunt and do things how we need to grow going forward. But some things are reasonable to be asked, and we also talk to companies about sponsorships and how they can help, etc. Going forward. So we'll do everything we can to support, and again, the support going away from home is more than appreciated. But Southampton, big club, and they tend to try and whack the tickets up.
Yeah, it's naughty.
Yeah.
Thank you, Phil. Right. Young man over there in the second row, good evening.
Good evening. My question is to Russell. Which players do you believe have the best work ethic and want to push themselves the hardest?
Hang on, what was the second part?
Manager cannot answer that.
Who will push themselves the hardest and has the best work ethic? So
Who is your favourite player?
Say to the other players that one player works
Yeah.
harder than them.
Good luck with that. I've asked
You can
that.
try and
Regretted
answer
it.
that without upsetting 27 of your 28 or something. Have a go.
I dare
They
him.
work really, They do, genuinely. I've been really impressed by their
Who doesn't?
willingness to work, but you don't get to the level they've got.
But Lianco,
Also,
he sits around, does nothing.
Last season out on the training pitch, which is nice for us. So they work really
Get our
hard.
chat section going. Who doesn't? Who do we think doesn't work hard?
They were too tired towards the end, but they really push each other as a group. We've been really impressed by their culture together, their willingness to run and work together and stuff, and to learn. And they do a lot of work, not just in the training pitch, in the video room, in the gym. So it's tough. It's tough for them. Like, it's not always easy, and it shouldn't be easy. The hardest bit should be the training, Monday to Friday, and then the Saturday should be the easiest part for them, really. And like the coaching staff, we spent all of our careers with the opposite. Monday to Friday was really easy, and you get to Saturday, really tough all of a sudden. So it's our job to make it really tough for them, Monday to Friday, so the Saturday becomes hopefully like instinct, and they can just feel it and just play and trust the work that they've done. That's our job. Charlie Alcaraz works really, really hard. So.
Amazing.
What a good young player he is. And what's your advice to him if he's a young footballer? And he might have been told by his coach, Russell, that he's not working hard enough. The work's the basis of everything, isn't it?
I say to the players, whatever's going to happen, like the style of play it can be quite divisive because of it's different, is a bit different. But I think the one thing you never ever want to get questioned on as a football player is your character, is how hard you're willing to work and stuff. So ability, everyone's going to have an opinion and be different, but I think always make sure people understand that you're willing to work and battle for your team and fight and do all of that stuff is really the most important bit, and enjoy it and smile, and hopefully the lads are starting to smile a little bit again, and then it's their job and our job to make you guys smile.
Russell, there is a great story which a lot of fans here will know about from Ricky Lambert, who once moaned to Mauricio Pochettino that he was working them too hard on a Friday. So Poch then doubled the amount of laps they had to do once he'd been into his room to moan about it, famously. And a lot of the players used to say, Friday, we used to have it easy on a Friday. Now it's really tough. Are you easing off on a Friday, or do you taper it towards match day, or are you tough on a Friday?
Yeah, no, we try and taper it. So they work their like 3 working days yesterday, today and tomorrow. And there's obviously an open training session tomorrow where I'm being told there'll be huge numbers, which will be amazing. But yeah, usually Friday's the one day they can not take it easy, but we'll top up on the week. But physically is a bit less for them. Yeah.
Thank you. Right, next one. Where are we? Oh, sir, good evening.
Hello. My name's Charles Patrick. I'm both a men's and a women's season ticket, so this is mainly aimed at the women's side. I'm very grateful to what the club have done in regards of the women's things. We've had our own shirts, replica shirts this year.
Great to see.
There's a financial commitment to the new players. Very grateful to that. We had the away coaches trial where we tried to go to some of the away matches, and many thanks to the pizzas we had at Sunderland.
Missed out there, didn't I?
And there's a great relationship between the fans and both the on and off pitch teams. It's not a complaint, it's merely a comment that can we carry on with the friendly atmosphere that you get at women's matches? For instance, I asked the announcer for when we had the Durham come down. We knew how far it was to Durham and how far they'd come down to us. And I said, can we please make a welcome to the away fans in the same way as it used to happen, where the announcer says, thank you very much for coming a long way. A warm welcome to Southampton. Hope you have an enjoyable.
So simple as that. Just somebody on the tannoy saying it.
That's one of
So
the.
I
thought Rob wasn't going tonight.
It's show the team matches, show the information on the notice board, and please have the names and photos of substitutes.
Right. So what's your question? Can we welcome other visiting teams better?
Can we be more friendly?
There's got to be one like this every year, isn't
Can
there?
we put the information on the board?
Right.
And
Okay.
thank you very much.
Men's and women's, by the way, or just women's?
Game as well.
Men's and women's, or just women's? But the friendliness.
I want more hostile atmosphere for the men's welcome.
Well, men or women, both.
I want flares as mandatory seat gifts.
Okay. That's what I want to know.
I want not to be any food available in the away section.
Sarah did tell me there's no longer a vegetarian option. That isn't the hot dog.
Yeah,
So
well, anyway, Phil, women's
Championship,
football
isn't it?
has been growing rapidly at the club. You've inherited it this summer, obviously. I remember last year asking me, or whenever I got the one chance to sit down with Rasmus, I think it was either asking him, how seriously are you going to take women's football now you're the new owners? And it was very. I presume you're on that path, but obviously, teams do come a long way and it's a growing sport. So do the club need to do everything they can to make it friendly and warm and welcoming and get more and more fans coming to women's football? How much of a part do you play in that?
First of all, yes, we could be very friendly, not a problem. We'll take the feedback and that can go. We can sort things like that very easily. I think the bigger question is, how are we focusing on women's football? I'm actually working quite closely with Marianne behind the scenes, and it's not just about women's football and playing. We're actually going, right, how do we make this a sustainable women's football programme for the next 5 years, make sure we get promoted and we are competing? So Marianne is actually a lot closer than just the football side. It works quite closely with her staff and everybody about the financial side as well. And
next home game for the women's is 3rd of September.
So look, I've got a daughter and
Sunday, 2 p.m. kickoff.
And so look,
should be a good game. You going?
Thank you. And you
I
keep
think
the
so.
prices for women's football as realistic as possible, Phil. It's important.
Very reasonable ticket prices.
Grow, isn't it?
Always is with a women's game. That's why it's a beautiful sport.
And I have to say, the women's game has come on leaps and bounds. And it always does.
About it, let's just mention quickly, Marianne, that you're going to the best named ground in the country for your opening game of the championship season, the Dripping Pad. Your first club, because he's a Brighton boy, aren't you? So you Lewis, your first club. I think my kids are still owners, yeah. Right.
Yeah, you can get
I hope we win, obviously. I hope we win, yeah.
Rubbish, Lewis. Rubbish. Okay, Marianne, you've got a couple of weeks to go. How are you fixed? How are you looking?
Yeah, we've had a good pre-season so far. Take the results out, because every time you play, every pre-season you plan for different things. So everything has kind of gone to plan. And the players just are chomping at the bit to get into the league season and get the first game against Lewis, because that's your first real test. Pre-season is planning. It's the old adage of getting
there's one promotion slot in the championship for the women's, isn't there?
Isn't it? Just the one promotion slot.
The culture on and off the pitch, as we said earlier, is really important. So the first game against Lewis, 2 weeks' time. And we're just really looking forward to it, and we'll be ready.
How have they done it? For those of us that look at a distance, you look at the league tables, and you've got all the big clubs now with their women's teams, all up there in the WSL, a lot in the championship. And then there's Lewis. And you think, well, how has Lewis done it? How do they play at such a level in the women's game when they're a non-league football club men's-wise?
Because they've got a vision and they've got a way of working, and because they believe in what they're doing. And I think, the women's game is growing, as you said, so rapidly, but there is still a place for those clubs that are self-sustaining and have a place to play in this game. It's like nothing should be just all of a sudden it becomes up here, because then you lose some of the essence and some of the innocence of the game. But it's important that they travel with us as well, because what we want to make sure is the game is, like I said, sustainable. But it's also important that the people that come to support, that come and watch and listen, and they see that every game is competitive and every game is played in the right manner, but with an edge of, we want to get to the top. So teams like Lewis have definitely got their place in the league, but it's as the game grows even more, where does that fit?
And the gentleman did say that, of course, he was very unhappy with the opposition coach swearing on the sidelines. So you obviously never swear then on the touchline, no?
Not on the touchline. I'll save that for half time.
And save it for the car on the way home. And obviously, just to get your prediction while I've got you here, on the night before a World Cup semi-final, you're a lioness of many caps. and as I said earlier, a pioneer for English women's football. So what's the prediction for tomorrow morning's game? Not to put you on the spot or anything, but I'll just have an exact score, please.
I've got to say England are going to win 2-0.
2-0, yeah?
Love to see.
The manager just said, I'm Scottish, I've not got an opinion.
Oh no!
Scottish,
I've put one comment in the chat session. Everyone's I've flooded it. Oops.
I'm deeply offended by that. He did it properly. Right, next question from the floor. He's got 3.
Hello.
Right, hang on.
Hello.
Where are we? Oh, yeah, sir.
Hi. First of all, good evening to everybody. I've got a question, probably best for Russell. Obviously, earlier this window, you brought in Ryan Manning. We've got Flynn Downs potentially coming in, or potentially, looks like it is going to happen this week. How useful is it to have players from your previous clubs come into the side straight away? Obviously, they're more sort of plug-and-play players who already know your system. How much more useful is it than bringing in players from other clubs who don't know the system?
Good question, but I thought he let you off the hook. I thought he was going to say, when's Pirro coming?
Oh, look at that face. Wow.
But I'll tell you what, just answer his question. How much better is it for you? Because obviously it helps other players as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I think it's the system can be very different for a lot of players. So the amount of detail they need to have to learn it and play and feel really comfortable with it can be very different from player to player. So Ryan is someone, when you've worked with a player before, you know exactly what to expect, right? So character-wise and how they train and what they expect from us culturally and the way they're expected to behave and the clarity that we give them. So, yeah, it was a really important one. I'm really grateful we got supported on Ryan. I think he's shown already, like he made a mistake at the weekend, but he's been in 4 weeks. He was knackered. But I think he's been great. I think he's been really good. And it means you can put them straight in. They understand the detail. And I think it helps the players around them when they have such a good understanding. And I think it's not like we can't just pick a player up. The same with a goalkeeper. It takes a lot of information. You can't just go and get an emergency loan goalkeeper and say, oh, play in there and be all right, because it takes a lot of repetition on the pitch and a lot of detail. So I think it's been really important for us. And I think if Flynn, as and when, if and when it gets done, will be another really important one, because he knows the work, he knows what's expected, and he's done brilliantly for us, and there's real trust there. So it'll be another great addition to the group.
Thank you, Russell. There is a gentleman there, but before that, I've got to ask you, Jason, is the Flynn Downs thing we're all presuming was going to happen when James went. So can we, I mean, I'm sort of led to believe it's this week. Can we just relax about that and wait for it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fair play.
There's your exclusive, everyone. Jason Wilcox said yes. Right, brilliant stuff.
Well, as he's got to wait for it.
I'm not sure I do want you on the radio now. It's a good move, Jason, wasn't it? Yeah. Right, sir.
Question. Well, a statement and a question, really.
Oh dear, here we go. Keep it clean.
It will be clean. Okay. When I got my season ticket over 2 weeks ago, I got my season ticket. I thought it was a badge in there. I thought it should have been a medal after the last that we had to come up with, to be quite honest. The minimum you require when you're a fan is that the team gives you everything and you get everything back. Yeah. Over the last couple of years, I can't say that that's happened, but we're all here tonight. Yeah. We stick with our team. Absolutely. You guys will come and go, but we will still be here. The minimum we expect when they cross the white line is to give us everything, and we give everything back.
Yeah.
The question I've got is for Jason. What was it like stood at Ewood Park when Matt Lettiz went past about 3 backline players and put it in the top corner? I just need to know how that felt.
That is a great question. Were you on the pitch that night?
I was playing.
Yeah.
I can't give a one-word answer for that.
And if you could, it wouldn't be on the radio.
Maybe 2 words.
Yeah. I mean, he could play, couldn't he? But your team was pretty special that year. Let's be honest. How much of what you learned as a player and how you liked to be treated or were dealt with do you take into your job now? How much of that helps that you went through that as a young man?
Yeah, I think you want to treat people how you want to be treated yourself, don't you? And I think when you've got strong values and a strong work ethic, you attract yourself with these people. And I think, it's really important that it's all about people. So not just the players, not just the staff, it's about people who work around the organisation. And we've got some amazing people here that
are going to now grow and they're going to have room to grow. And I think they're going to make mistakes along the way. So we always focus on the on-pitch performance, but there's a team behind this. And it's really important that they're recognised as well for the work. I mean, you mentioned Matt Letizia, but don't forget we stole Shearer and Tim Flowers from you as well.
Yeah, I remember that.
Graham Rousseau, did he come after? Is it the way round, maybe?
No, Graham Rousseau.
Kenner.
Yeah.
Jeff Kenner, yeah, there's another one.
Anyway, we could. And just to add to the gentleman's point, by the way, I think I researched before Saturday's game, the last winning season at St Mary's, more games won than lost, was the last championship season in 2011-2012. So,
which was a fun one.
Right, we are running quickly out of time. Young man there.
It's one I want an answer from every level if possible, please. Cool. I run a fan podcast called the Southampton Way podcast. I named it that because I believe in it. I think for the last 10, 15 years, the fans have bought into this Southampton way. I didn't believe it to be a manifesto. I believed it to be the club, the heartbeat. The last bit of that, playing-wise, left on Monday. I just wanted to know, first of all, how you replace that as an attitude in the dressing room, Russell, and then going to the top. You know, I've spoken to many former players, Ricky Lambert, James Beattie, Mattis. They all talk about a nucleus of Southampton and what it meant to play for the club. How do you keep that going? How do you maintain it and build it? Because, you know, after last season, it felt shattered.
Okay, it's going to have to be very quick because your question might be longer than their answers. So I apologise because it's almost 7 o'clock and we've almost got time to go to the other half of Hampshire playing football match tonight. Right, quickly, Russell. How do you replace James Ward-Prowse?
Well, you don't, do you? Like, it's a very unique situation in modern day football. How much affection and love he has for the club, how well he's done from 16 years old all the way through. It's just an incredible story that will happen less and less, unfortunately, being realistic. But you also have a couple of the players who understand what Prowse felt. So Jack's been here for a long time, and although he went away last season, it's only made him more hungry and desperate to do really well for the club, and he really cares. Will Smallbone is the same, and that's like the point of bringing in Jason in and understands the importance of academy and people who feel connected to the club.
Is it our academy or is it Man City's academy?
It's the coach's job to get them ready for us, and our job to be brave enough to put them in. So that's
yeah,
at the moment,
but how do you nurture
a different club,
like a?
But he's now here.
Ami or and
we're doing what we're doing now.
Tyler Dibling.
It's our job to make sure he's ready to compete and give us as much as he possibly can. But in terms of like Prowse, it's a really unique situation. So I can't come at him and say, yeah, we'll replace him. It's no problem. But he's been just incredible. Even in the 6 weeks we've been here, I've been so impressed by him. Like not just on the pitch, but how he can.
Prowse comes back next season.
How hard it was for him to leave. So like that can never be understated.
We've got a buyback clause.
It's difficult to replace, but we also have a lot of people that care.
West Ham go down. We buy him back.
As he does, and have been on a journey and understand the club and the place and what it takes and what it needs, and they're desperate to emulate some of what he's done and be that guy.
Thank you, Russell. That is it, everybody. We are done for 2023. 7 o'clock has come round very quickly. Please thank your panel tonight: Marianne Spacey Cale, Russell Martin, Phil Parkins, and Jason Wilcox.
And us. Gotta say, that was very different from last year.
Wasn't that just?
Very different. Everybody speaks very, very differently. I think I kind of there's definitely when they're talking about like Baz and that is I love to hear them defending the team and keeping their spirits up.
Yep.
But they went so hard. It was like they knew it was coming. The fact that so there's still a bit of protection, quite a lot of protection in those answers, but that does get you more fiery than last time. Then
it does, and I like I think there was a good width of questions there. We had questions in regards to how we looking at experience, how we stopping goals from going in, stopping from conceding so much, all the way to how do we welcome away fans. Bit of a wacky one, that one. But sorry, hang on. As we were. But yeah, no, I think everyone generally got their comments across. But I particularly liked Russell Martin stepping in
Yep.
defence of Baz, and you know we've had comments on here, and we've made comments about the goalkeeper.
I've made
position.
many comments about the goalkeeping position.
And I think that's kind of, you know, we have to hold our hands up and say, look, that we are part of that rhetoric. We are also, you know, saying similar things. But it was nice to see a manager come to the defence of their player in such a way, and I'm sure that will resonate back to the player. And I think, you know, he's definitely got a point, because, you know, he's an international goalkeeper who's basically been at the club at the bottom of the Premier League for an entire season. And had 2 relegations. I'm not sure where the other one must have come from. Must have been, I don't know. But it's been through a lot. But he is quality, and I think he will be an exceptional keeper. I just want there to be someone pushing him, and I'm not sure Alex McCarthy is that.
But that's the thing. The fact that he said, you know, McCarthy's a great number 2. It's like, yeah, but he should be pushing for 1.
Yeah, if McCarthy's a great number 2 for a Championship club, and he's getting interest from Premier League clubs, it just seems, I don't know. I mean, maybe that is just a kind of a, I don't know. But if McCarthy was to go, who's coming in? And I think you can only kind of look at the speculation from Twitter and all those kind of things of like, well, is he actually on his way, or is this all just speculation of someone's agent trying to get them a new deal somewhere or such? But I don't know. I quite like that. But let us know in the chat section if there was any particular questions that you thought were missed, were skipped over. We're going to carry on this for about 5 minutes or so, just to see if there's any extra comments out there. Oh, Rochdale relegation. There we go. Must have done that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought it's always a weird one this time of year, because although last season was so bad, if you could ask questions at the end of last season to everyone that was still there and how responsible, you would. But now it's sort of like, well, it's not Rasmus, it's Jason. Jason's been doing a good work, and everything we see looks great. You're not mad at, you can't be not mad at Russell, because everything he's been doing has been great. So far, everyone on that panel's been doing all right.
Yeah.
It's just, what are you going to do to maintain this? What are you doing to keep our trust? And I think they answered pretty much everything.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, no, I think they definitely covered that, and it was kind of disappointing that we weren't able to go tonight. But you know, these things happen. It's all good. And I thought that the panel handled the questions well. I don't think there would be anything else that I would have added in. Any extra questions you would have put in there?
No, they can't. Like I say, that I think they answered everything. I mean, can we get better pies? Kingfishers.
Why is there not a vegetarian option?
Yeah, no veggie option. Kingfishers flat. Yeah, things like that.
Yeah, that's that sponsor out the window.
We're not going for that one, mate. Are we? We're not going for that one. So.
Yeah, well, goodbye to that one. Never mind. And also, you know, he seemed quite confident that we had everything we need in the striker position. Now, I hear what you're saying about Adam Armstrong, but I think if we were to lose Shea, I would be a bit worried.
Well, they did say, you know, if we keep Jay, it's all problem solved. I'm more just, you got those 2, that's fine, but what we've seen of Mara so far, I know he needs more time to do stuff, but he just doesn't seem that like the one, especially for this system.
Yeah, exactly that. It's a question here from Andy: are you guys concerned in the slightest about the lack of recruitment? We've signed players, so for me, it's more that limbo of like, well, who else is going? And with the likes of Will Smallbone, you know, because don't forget we've got loan players that came back from loan. Jack Stevens, Will Smallbone, he's at Stoke last season. So we've got midfield players in there. It's just a case of, okay, if Sulemana goes, who's coming in? You know, if Will Smallbone's out injured for 3 months, you know, that's a hefty chunk of the season.
Yeah, that's the Smallbone situation. I think that's the loan. I think we need to find a championship midfielder to have a season-long loan with.
Yeah. But defensive midfield-wise, I mean, Flynn Downs, I've read, is a defensive midfielder. But if it's an either-or of Shea Charles and Flynn Downs, I mean, I haven't seen Flynn Downs play anything other than defensive mid. I would kind of be a bit concerned if it was an either-or. I hope they can play together. It's nothing to stop Flynn Downs sort of playing a bit more forward.
Exactly, and I think if you've got those slightly more defensive, almost two number sixes playing, Alvarez going forward, he can be really sort of free to do what he wants.
Yeah,
because right now it tends to be two of those. Like Armstrong doesn't track, and Alvarez doesn't track really.
Yeah. So
if you've and with those sort of slip ups, you had two slightly more defensive midfield players, it'd be amazing.
Yeah. And cheers to Joe, by the way. Thanks for becoming a member. Details of that in the description. Someone asked about Nathan Teller as well. If I heard there was a bid from was it a German club?
Yeah, is it Leverkusen?
So I really like Teller. I think he lights up a championship side.
Yeah. Yeah, so do I. I just don't. I think there's certain players that
everyone has their price, though, right?
Everyone has their price, but I think if you do have another season like that with Teller, he's worth twice as much, and is what you're going to get. So and you got this prime player in this position locked down. I think there's more to gain keeping Teller than there is losing him. And I think Sulemana should say. I think if you had that front three being Sulemana, Adam Armstrong, or Shea, and then Teller, be unreal.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you're right.
If Dozie and Amio to come on off the benches, I think there's a really strong attacking force you've got there. Yeah.
It will be a fun one to see how that comes out. So yeah, but there we go. But that has been our makeshift broadcast on the Fan Forum thing. We will be back live tomorrow night for the preview of Plymouth Argyle. We are scum, we are vile. We're off to play Plymouth Argyle.
And then we're live again. Live 3 times this week.
And then we're live on Saturday as well, because sadly we weren't able to go to the Argyle game. But we will be doing a live watch along. Whoop whoop.
Good fun. Back in action.
And we're going to be in the same room, aren't we, Jack?
Oh, imagine that. Is this our first live? This must be the first watch along together in a room.
Yeah. It's going to be good.
It will truly be the end of COVID.
We finally put that one to bed. Yeah, no, we'll be that. So we have plenty more time to react and respond to the fan forum, and then also maybe we have a bit of news on transfer to talk about then as well. But yeah, no, I'm going to leave this come out from Harry, because that was my favourite part of the forum, is Martin's backing of Bazunu. Absolutely loved that. Excellent. Well, there it is. As always, remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow. As I'm scrolling to find the credits.
Nailing it. Just out here.
Always nailing it. Stay healthy, people. Right. See you tomorrow. Peace.
Bye.